yeah, I'm super excited, and it definitely is a dream come true, fighting in such a big venue, one of the biggest fight venues in the world. So, yeah, very excited about it. Absolutely.
My next guest is going to be fighting at UFC 295, Madison Square Garden, November 11th. Doesn't get much better than this. It's John Castaneda back here on the program. John, how are you?
James, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show, brother.
Well, thank you for joining me, and glad to see you're keeping warm. You were just telling me off air. It's getting a little chilly this time of year in Minnesota.
It definitely has. Yeah, I think this just this past week it's gotten a little bit chilly, but we're about to hit a little heat wave next week, so it's going to be like 40, 50 degrees. So, just got to endure it while it lasts. Yeah.
For sure. But it makes you tougher, right? That was the whole thing with Rocky, right? That whole movie where, he's running in the snow and all that stuff, right? I think it does make you tougher as someone who's lived in cold climates before.
It absolutely does. And I think not only physically, but mentally, you got to find the motivation a little bit harder to go to the gym and, do all that extra stuff, that road work and whatnot. So it definitely makes you tougher. Absolutely.
How excited were you to get on this card, man? I know for a lot of people, it's a dream to fight at Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely. I mean, myself included. I got the call to bump up my fight a week. I was supposed to fight on November 18th at the Apex, and I love Vegas.
Apex, Madison Square Garden.
I had to outweigh the pros and the cons, but I think we ended up making the right decision. Yeah, I'm super excited, and it definitely is a dream come true. Fighting in such a big venue. One of the biggest fight venues in the world. So yeah, very excited about it. Absolutely.
When did you find out? You said initially it was supposed to be November 18th. When was the switch up? Like, when was it official that you'd be fighting at 295?
I think maybe like 5 weeks out. So we're about 1 week out. So like 4 weeks ago, I got the offer, and essentially, I don't know why the reasoning was, but I jumped all over it, and I was excited to do it.
Let's talk about your opponent here, Kyung Ho Kang, 19-9. He's a vet just like you. You got to love this matchup. Stylistically, how are you looking at this one?
Absolutely. Stylistically, I think it's great. He's definitely a veteran when it comes to overall fights, but not only that, but he's had a lot of fights in the UFC too. He's had probably more than double the amount of fights that I've had. But yeah, he's a veteran. He's a long, lengthy boxer, kind of like a kickboxer, but he's got really, really good scrambles and good jiu-jitsu as well. So I think it's going to be a good matchup. I've been doing all the right things in camp. Every single fight I'm looking to evolve in my weakest areas, but also strengthen up my strengths as well. So I've been doing just that. You guys are going to see a new John Castaneda, just like you did my previous fight and the previous one before that. So every single fight, I'm just looking to evolve.
Tell me about camp. Anything different, or is it just, you're evolving just as a fighter? Like, who did you get to work with? Who's been helping you get ready for this one?
Oh, absolutely. So the biggest thing that I've been working on this camp that I've never done actually in any of my previous camps is working on it with a boxing coach.
Oh, so, cool. Okay.
Oh, my hands, my eyes are awake. My hands are aware. Everything is like, my boxing is very, very crisp. And so I'm looking to just have more volume, more output when it comes to actual strikes. You know what I mean? Which is something that I think, in my opinion, just giving like a feedback as to, rewatching my fights is something that I lack, maybe like high volume count, quick counters, stuff like that, so expect a lot of boxing, expect a lot more hands being thrown this fight. Absolutely.
What about training partners? Who'd you have a chance to work with ahead of this one?
Yeah. So my normal crew, you know what I mean? I got my young up and comer, Quang Lee. He just fought in LFA not too long ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. He's undefeated. He's 7-0. I got tough dogs, like really, really young guys, Griffin Perriott, Noah Dashu, just a bunch of good guys. And, obviously my team at the academy with Coach Greg Nelson, Nat McIntyre, Andy Gran, a bunch of guys. And, we're doing good things there. That gym, the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy, they've produced champions like Brock Lesnar, Sean Shirk, Rose Namajunas, you know what I mean? They're all coming from that gym and under the wing of Coach Greg Nelson. So we're doing something right over here in the Midwest, and we might not have, I say this every single time, but I stand by it. We might not have that room full of the most well-known guys, but we have a lot of young up and comers who are just, me being in the UFC, having as many fights as I do, there's not a single day that I don't get beat up by somebody younger, stronger, and faster than me. You know what I mean? And that's really what the room needs. I'm not the top dog in the gym, and I haven't been ever. So there's always like that young up and comer coming up. He might not have the same name as me or in the same division or the same company that I'm fighting for, but they're young, they're hungry, and they're up and coming. So that's really what it's all about, I think.
Weight cut, how's that going? Obviously we got a little bit of time here, but everything going A-okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right where I should be. I think that right off the bat, that was probably the most stressful part of it was just accepting the fight and getting like a week taken off, especially with like how scientific and like kind of nitty gritty you get with the weight cuts. Like every week you kind of track like this is where I should be this week and this week. But when you get a whole week taken away, it kind of like throws you for a loop. But I've already made up for it, so we're right on schedule.
Is it harder to cut weight as you get older? Like, do you find, or does it maybe easier because you kind of understand the process a little bit better? Like how have the weight cuts compared sort of now compared to maybe earlier in your career?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. I'm still a very young man, 31 years old. So
for sure, yeah.
I'm just kidding. It definitely is getting it does get tougher for sure, but that just really means that you have to be a little bit more diligent and kind of responsible in your everyday life. That's all it is. So if you can be a little bit more responsible and kind of more doing the right things every single day, it's just as easy.
Your corner, who will be making the trip with you to New York?
Yep, my striking coach is going to be there, Nat McIntyre. My main training partner, Kwang Lee, and then my wrestling coach, Joseph Deshu.
There we go. And how's this one playing out? This has got Fight of the Night written all over it, I know, but how do you see this one going down?
Honestly, I very much visualize this fight, me hurting him on the feet and finishing him TKO. Absolutely.
Didn't even hesitate. I like it. We just had that big boxing fight last weekend, Francis Ngannou, Tyson Fury. I don't know if you caught it. A lot of people caught the replay. What did you think of that? Pretty incredible. Ngannou knocking Fury down.
Yeah, no, I absolutely did. I watched it. I ordered the pay-per-view. So I think Tyson Fury won that fight, but I think Ngannou absolutely showed incredible heart and yeah, just the level of striking that he has. I think that 10-8 round made it really, really close. And I don't think by any means it was like a robbery, but I've always stood on the, if you're going to beat the champ, you got to beat the champ, and he did have his moments for sure. He, like you said, he knocked him down, but strike volume, I think Fury outstruck him by like 20 or 25 strikes throughout overall in the fight, but Ngannou landed more power shots. So, it's kind of like, it could have been a toss up by any means. I'm happy with it. It's really good for the MMA community for sure. And yeah, hats off to Ngannou.
Obviously not looking past UFC 295, but I imagine this is it for the year. Take some time off for the holidays, reassess, and then look at next year. Because obviously the cards are, I think, filled up after this, and we're talking about November 11th, which is pretty much near the end of the year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking to get a third one in, but I was also looking to fight a lot sooner than November. So yeah, I would say like exactly like you said, fight November, take some time for the holidays, and then reassess for the new year. But honestly, yeah. Or early next year. I want to get in 3 next year for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Your thoughts on USADA leaving the UFC? I know they're going to have another governing or another body that's going to be testing you guys, but what was your overall experience with USADA, and what was your thoughts on them leaving the UFC?
I absolutely loved USADA, and especially because here in Minnesota, I was always the same couple coming in to test me, and they were nice people. They always came during great times. I never ran into any issues where they were kind of waking me up, at odd hours of the night. They were always great people, super nice, super caring. And it was a quick process. It was very easy. So I'll miss that aspect. I don't know who's going to, be replacing them and whatnot, but I heard, and I don't know if I'm correct on this, but I heard the new program is going to be a lot more strict than a lot stricter than USADA. So I guess we'll see. It doesn't matter. Regardless, this is my pre-workout coffee, so I'm good to go regardless.
There you go. With a pre-workout coffee. Oh, so you just drink black coffee or anything special in your coffee?
Coffee with a little bit of half and half and some powdered cinnamon.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, keeping on the diet and everything. And what about downtime? Again, it's cold in Minnesota. I'm sure you're getting a little bit of time inside. You watching anything interesting? Any movies or TV shows or video games, or what are you up to when you get that little bit of free time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just got a new puppy.
Oh, cool.
He is 9 months old now, but I've had him for the last 6 months. So I got him when he was 3 months old, and that's honestly a lot to deal with. So when I'm home, I'm playing with my puppy. Otherwise, yeah, I'm playing video games. I'm playing Call of Duty.
Okay.
Add me, L Brown Man 69.
Is that your name?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So you don't have your cat anymore then, or do you have the cat and it coexists with the dog?
Dude, no, I do have the cat. Yeah, she's just she minds her own business around the house. Yeah, I actually have two cats.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I remember that because
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I have a cat as well, so that's why I always remember that you have one because there's
Yeah.
not many of us that
Right.
have cats.
No,
So
it definitely coexist. They honestly, they're like best friends, especially with the puppy. My cat really, um, she kind of fell in love with the puppy. The puppy was very, very like docile at first, but yeah, they're buddies.
with everything going on in the world these days, it's good to see two opposites coming together like that. That's great. John, we're looking forward to this fight, man. UFC 295, November 11th. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, first and foremost, obviously, Iridium Sports Agency and everybody with my management team, Jason House, Jeremy, Jacob, everybody with my Iridium family, giving me the opportunities that I'm able to perform at the highest level on the biggest stages for sure. My team, obviously, the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy, Coach Greg Nelson, and all my teammates, and then just all my friends and family. My girlfriend Taylor, my mom, my brother, everybody who supports me and kind of keeps me in line and check every single day. So.